now? Okay, and look at that. Very good, Amber, with, you're only 10 seconds late. All right, so you all set, Drew?
Is Kristen on?
So I will open the meeting right at 6 o'clock. We do have a quorum. So the first order I've got on the agenda is I want to introduce Brian Finnegan as our newest member of FinCon. You've met Ashley,
Yep.
Brian,
Yep.
okay? This is Andrew.
Right on.
Andrew is the town manager. I will rebut you when you come up here, Mike, okay? All right, so now we're going to, first item is the approval of some past minutes. And what we're going to do is we're going to reaffirm our approval of the August 21st minutes and the September 18th minutes, okay? The reason being is we can't find the agenda for the October special town meeting, and because we don't have an agenda posted, we can't have minutes, and so we haven't approved officially those minutes. So I will entertain a motion that we approve the August 21st and September 18th minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. That is unanimous.
You
Kristen
want to
gave
just
a
get
thumbs up.
Kristen?
She gave a thumbs up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Okay, Kirsten.
Hello.
Hello. All right, you vote yes. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Thank you. All right, so it is still unanimous?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a vote. All right. So first up, to help, so Mike doesn't have to sit here through all this, I'd like to invite Mike up. He wants to talk about Old Home Day funding.
It's good to see Mr. Kamosny after all these years, hiding in the south and playing golf and not even inviting me.
Oh, yeah, I knew this was coming.
Yeah,
I knew this was
anyway,
coming.
nice to see you.
Same here, Mike.
And to the rest of you, I'm Mike Lally, and I'm the chair of the Old Home Day Committee Fund. And Kathleen Walker, my wife, is leader of the gang.
Mhm.
So I have just kind of one request. I don't want to delay your time. Our funding and our costs have they've escalated like everything else. And this past year, the total cost to get the bands and whatever else was required, the tents and all of that, came to about 25 grand.
Mhm.
So we're operating, we start with a budget of about 5.5. I would like to see that up to 25, if possible,
Mhm.
because if we had a base operation to operate from, it would take away a lot of pressure. I've been chasing funds for the last, God only knows how many years, you might know.
Mhm.
And it's getting tougher, and I'm not getting any younger. I'm call myself now maturing octogenarian, I guess. So, but anyway, I would like to see something established that we can operate from, and it takes the pressure off, and it's a lot easier to get funds when you have something behind you to work with.
Mhm.
And even the fireworks costs almost 10 grand now. So it's a lot, it's a big chunk to be hit with before you even get started. And the people that have been kind enough over the years to give me funding and to support the Old Home Day, and knowing and having learned the importance of Old Home Day, I'm here making a request on its behalf.
Mhm. Okay, so what happens from here, Mike, is that request is gonna go to Andrew and Ashley, right? And as
Mhm.
they incorporate the budget
Yes?
for 2025, they will
Yes.
take your request into account.
Well, that's a very appropriate 2025 and 25 grand, and I'm happy.
That's coincidental. So what will happen, okay, is at some point, I don't know when that
Budgets are
committee
due
comes before us, sometime in
the
February or
31st.
or March.
So that Old Home Days sits under recreation.
Okay,
It's in
so,
the recreation budget.
so when recreation budget comes before us, okay,
Yes.
what you will probably be asked to do is maybe by them make a presentation at that time also, all right?
Okay.
So what you've done tonight is you've kind of been the early bird and put your 2 cents in before everybody else has an opportunity, so we'll know where you're coming from,
Thank you kindly.
okay?
Who
Okay.
on Old Home Day should I send cause it sits under recreation, so recreation gets the budget, unless someone wants to talk to Diane Doherty. But who on Old Home Day can I reach out to?
Uh,
Email?
Kathleen Walker,
Okay,
you know
I'll send it to
Kathleen?
her, yeah,
Okay,
I'll send it to her, cause it
That's
sits in, recreation has the budget, but if she doesn't talk to Diane, it won't get updated.
okay,
So I'll send it to her to make sure that her line gets updated.
appreciate that.
No problem.
And I haven't seen this gentleman for a long time. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
So I will leave you good people.
Thank you very much for coming in,
Merry
making
Christmas
your
and all the
case.
good stuff that goes with it.
Okay.
on Patrick.
Thank you.
And I won't forget you this coming spring. Okay?
That's a deal.
Okay, Mike.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Hi, I'm Ashley, nice to meet you. Bye, nice meeting you.
So that was the one request we had for somebody meeting with us tonight. Okay, otherwise, it was a pretty open night, and we haven't met in a couple months, so.
We didn't have October's
Huh?
agenda? October's agenda?
No, so what happened is they can't find the emails where I said, hey, post this agenda.
Okay.
So it never actually got posted on the website.
Okay.
Because it didn't, we can't call it an actual meeting, so we can't accept those minutes.
Yeah.
For that,
They
okay?
were already signed, so that's why I
Now,
don't have them in
What
front
I
of
will
you.
do, what I will do is I'll go back, I'll look at my email, sent file,
Okay.
see if I can find it, and which I normally keep copies of
Yep.
all of that stuff. If I resend it and show that, hey, on this day I did it, then at the next meeting, we'll be able to
Vote on it.
vote
Yeah.
on those,
Okay.
vote on those minutes.
Even if it didn't get posted? If it didn't get posted, it
I'll
doesn't get
check with
posted,
town clerk, maybe it just ended up somewhere else and then I don't,
Right.
it's not under yours, but I'll check with them tomorrow.
But at least if I can show, hey, on this day I sent it, okay? What happened after that?
Right.
We'll have to figure
Yeah,
out.
cause they post all the agendas
Right.
anyway, so,
Yeah. And Elise is pretty good
Yeah.
at saying,
yep,
hey, you forgot this time, or you
Right.
forgot this meeting room, or
Yep.
whatever. So I'm sure that there was some kind of snafu in the middle of it. So now we're already to other business. That was easy.
Mm-hmm. that
all
was
right?
easy. So I'll circle it in with our update. So we met with our financial advisor, who we use Unibank, UFossey. We met with them on Monday to discuss our going out to bond for the fire substation. And he gave me some bad news. So Hank has the packet. I didn't print it because it's 27 pages long, so I didn't print one for everybody. But I did put it in the Dropbox if you guys want to have fun and read it. I haven't looked through it yet, but he did tell us that S&P, who are the higher ups that we go to, and we have to make a presentation to them, and they're the ones that will give us our bond rating for us to go out to bond, and that's how the banks know who will bid and all that fun stuff for when we go out. He did inform us that they changed their gradings about 3 months ago, probably not in our favor. So I will probably still maintain a strong AA plus where we are now. We're hoping is that we probably won't move up to a AAA. There's hope, but he said it doesn't look well. So, he did tell us that some of the strong things that they were looking at before, which economic development, which obviously we've had a lot of strong leadway in that the past few years. They don't really look at that anymore. They look more towards the median income of the county, and then they factor in, so we'll look at like Worcester County, and then they factor in us into that. And then pension, how much pensions paid in for OPEB, and then how much we've paid into OPEB, and how much funded we are. So we've put in quite a bit of money into our OPEB in the past few years. Worcester Regional Retirement hasn't done the same. So they are as favorable as we are. So those are all things that they're gonna look at. He said those are like the big factors that they look at now. So we're still gonna try. We have to go out and get regraded every time you go out for a big borrowing anyway. So we'll see what happens. But he said it doesn't look like that would happen. I don't remember if he said that there's been communities that have gone down at all, but
Yeah, but they were anticipating it just based off of the
Right.
criteria.
Did they give
So-
an indication on the rate that it would be, or the difference between AAA and AA?
it's usually a couple points. He doesn't. They don't really know, and who knows where the market will be. We're gonna go out in
Market
April,
driven,
so yeah.
And as Ashley had mentioned before, Jeremy, that line is, the better your rating, the more banks may
Yeah.
bid on your bond.
So
And
you
of
get
course,
like
the more
bigger
banks
banks
that
that will bid
bid.
on you, and then you'll probably get like a better, premium. So like what they do is, okay, if we want 16 million, they might say, okay, we're gonna give you a million off in premiums, and that comes right off your borrowing cost. So instead of really borrowing 16, you're really only borrowing 15 million. So you'll get better premiums with a higher bond rating, you'll get better interest rates with the bond, it's all different. And you'll get different banks to bid on you, bigger banks to bid on you.
Almost
So-
sounds like they're trying to look at it, are you taxing your residents enough to pay off these things?
Yeah, and they look at debt too, like how much debt you have. They look at all of those things.
Yeah, I think total population was a new benchmark that
Yeah.
they were putting more emphasis on with the
Yeah.
new rating, and essentially, it's not really anything that we control.
Right.
So,
And he was saying it's like, that's really killing the towns out west, cause they don't really have a big population out that way.
The other way, if anything.
Yeah, so it's really to benefit all the people that are east of 495, but
Is this town still growing in population?
we actually just talked about this afternoon.
Yeah.
It sounds like we went down a little bit.
You
From
did.
last time.
You got the records this week for health.
Yeah.
Charlton did go down a little.
Yeah, so we don't know if that's people moving out, if that's, maybe we had a really strong elderly population. What,
I mean, the houses
that,
are
I
still
don't know
being
what the
built.
difference is, but.
lower average family size.
Right.
Yeah.
That's across the state though.
Right, so, but they're really heavily looking at that, which doesn't work in our favor. We're not a city, don't have a lot of people here. So, but that's not anything that we can control, but they,
So, going through the timeline, you're looking to go out to bid for this and when? Sometime in
in
March?
For the
March, April?
bond
yeah,
in April.
yeah, for
sometime in
bonds and the
April.
bands. So bonds are long-term borrowing, bands are short-term borrowings. We're gonna do a mixture of both.
Mm-hmm,
We're gonna do that very end of March, very beginning of April.
okay, so the payments don't hit our books though until
FY
July 1
20,
of,
We'll budget for them in FY '26.
So-
For the
yeah, so you'll
primarily
have,
Right.
you'll have an interest payment, so we're gonna time it with the tax due date. So you'll have an interest payment in November of 25, and then your first principal payment with interest in May of 26. So for the next budget season, we'll have to budget some,
May of 26, okay.
so you'll have an interest payment in November of 25, and then, interest plus principal payment, because principal only gets paid once a year, interest gets paid twice. So you'll have for your first interest in November, and then interest and principal in
okay.
May.
When is tentative construction?
So we're out to bid right now. Bids, general contractor bids are due to be submitted by January 17th. We'll have 90 business days to execute the contract. It'll be about 18 to 24 months construction time once we do get shovel in the ground. The
Okay.
one thing that's kind of the biggest in the air thing is we're waiting on a special legislative act to pass, just so that we can acquire the property, because there's no, provision in Mass General Law explicitly allowing a school district to sell property unless it's for an educational use. So, we're at the final hurdle of getting it through the House at this point, but we still have to get it through the Senate before the end of the informal session.
Yep.
And if we can't get it through before then, we're gonna have to refile, and that's gonna throw our timelines off.
Active
Question for-
Congress.
Who do we have handling that? Lobbyist or is it
It's,
just in the
yeah,
hands
it's
of
our local guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough during the informal session, cause you're kind of at, at the mercy of how they're, pulling things, if it was in formal session, we'd probably get everything on June, everything that is inconsequential kind of passes on the last day. So I'm really hoping that they are just kind of, waiting it out and maybe pass it on the last day of the session like they like to, so.
So if you've got 90 days from opening of the bids to award, I can't believe you can award before you know you've got the bond.
Well, the bonds are
Well,
more the
right.
kind of the financing aspect. We're not worried about.
Okay, it's just the state and the
Right.
land.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can't award the bid without owning the land.
Right.
The
okay.
bid,
I knew
yeah.
that there was a contingency on.
Yeah,
Right.
the
Yes.
financing is what we already voted on, so we're going out to bid based on that
Gotcha,
financing.
okay, so
If for
that's-
whatever reason the things come in over budget, then it's a different conversation, but.
Yep.
My question is, how much are we paying the schools for the land?
At this point, it's just some considerations for improved safety at the intersection. so, and putting up a sign, but, no dollar value attached to that
How does that happen?
conversation. Negotiation conversation, we haven't signed on the dotted line with anything, we can't officially get to it, I mean, unless they're willing to throw something out that sounded like it was just a land transfer.
Interesting.
But the land was originally given by the town, right?
It was acquired through through private sale.
Yeah, they purchased it after we had already made a regional district. That's the only reason why we can't just take it.
But the school ultimately paid for it at some point along the way.
Right.
Right,
And so that should be something that we consider when we're looking at the school budget this year.
correct.
That they're gonna be looking for a tit for tat.
No, just that we should be
Yeah.
definitely funding our schools and not going, keeping that in mind, that
Yeah,
our schools,
yeah.
that our education needs to be forefront of our mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Point taken.
That's kind of where,
Yeah, that's where that kind of
Yeah.
stands.
Yeah, okay. So at least it's moving forward.
Yeah.
yep.
Good. All
So-
right, what else we got going on?
I've gotten a handful of budgets in. We had our department head meeting today, so I'm assuming I'll probably get them next week, probably the week after, because next week's Christmas, but, and everyone's working on theirs. I don't know if you.
I heard the word was out, they have to all be in by December 31st.
December 31st, capital and budgets.
Right.
So, I don't know if you guys have seen, we do have a new fire chief. So Ed gave his retirement notice, his last day is Monday. And the board appointed a new, chief, so he'll start the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be the only budget that might be late, but everybody else should be in on
Yeah.
time. So, I have a handful of departments scheduled to sit with you guys for meetings. Right now, police is the only one for January. Everybody else pushed theirs out to February and March, so.
Okay.
I tried to do police, fire, DPW on 3 separate days, because
Right.
they're the biggest, and then I haven't heard back from the schools, but Dudley Charlton did say they have the joint meeting, so we're gonna move our February 12th meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll have to take a vote on, or figure out which day you guys wanna meet in February now. And then I have March, I'm assuming Bay Path will probably come to the March meeting, because they usually come out,
Yeah.
because they need
And
chapter
theirs is pretty
70.
easy. That's probably one of the
Yeah.
most simplified budgets
Right.
I've seen.
So,
Okay, because we've got our schedule, it's in the Dropbox folder. I
Yeah.
didn't unfortunately bring one with me, so I can say, okay,
Yeah.
so-and-so. But police are gonna, you said police are gonna be
police are for
first
January.
in January.
Yep, and then that's all I have so far for January, and
Yep.
then February I have IT, library, building, assessors, and fire. So those, we'll have to move them around.
Yep. And is ClearGov working pretty good?
Well, so they did a major modification to ClearGov that made it a lot more complicated for the, end users and a little bit more complicated on our side. Try to work a few workarounds into it, but this year we just asked them to submit their Excel spreadsheet budgets, and I'm gonna put it in and make sure that everything populates correctly. But essentially what they kind of did was they consolidated the revenue and the expenditure side all into one side, so it's much more difficult to kind of parcel through it from at least the requester
And not only
perspective.
that, they put all funds together, so it's not separated water, sewer, and
Oh,
general
geez.
fund anymore,
Yeah.
everything is together.
Yeah, so we're gonna evaluate it over this,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it doesn't
this
sound
budget
like
year.
this is the kind of program we wanna be dealing with anymore.
Right, so I think, we'll get through this budget year and then we'll reconsider our continued use of the system going into next year. But, by the time they had done the refresh, it was October, and we had already signed on, we
Yeah,
had
I
already
sent
signed on
budgets out
last
to
year.
everybody, and then I logged into ClearGov to go in to do my budget. And I had a heart attack, and I was like, what is this? And I went down to Andrew, I was like, have you been in ClearGov lately?
Yeah.
And
So,
he
Brian,
worked some magic and made
ClearGov
it.
is like an online Quicken program for towns.
Okay.
That's.
It was supposed to
But it does
make
a
our
lot
lives
more. I mean, it
easier.
should make it that simplified, but,
So I used to take everyone, I have the spreadsheet, which you guys will get this year, but I used to take that spreadsheet, create it for everybody, all the department, every single department. And I would send it out to the department heads, they would update it, send it back to me, I would then take that budget and put it into a big spreadsheet, all by hand. So it would take me a couple hours, cause everyone's spreadsheet's all separate. So ClearGov, they were taking and they were entering everything right into ClearGov themselves, and it would update automatically, and I could just data dump it out into Excel. So it was wicked easy on my half, but,
Yep.
I mean, and I don't care, it's fine, I'm good with Excel, but,
All right, so is
Just
this gonna
stinks
have
that
an
it doesn't
impact
work
then?
nicely.
Jeremy at one of the
Yeah.
meetings had expressed the format that
Right.
we all said, yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be just as easy now to get us that same format?
so you're still gonna get, you're gonna get the spreadsheets, and then what, we'll see, I'm gonna get, once I have them in the spreadsheet, I'll give the big spreadsheet to Andrew, and then he's gonna take it and try to enter it all into into ClearGov, and see how it looks.
Okay, but we'll get the raw data.
You're
from-
gonna at least get, you'll still
Yes.
get the big spreadsheet that you see at town meeting, you'll get that, and then you'll get all the individual departments, and what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll put a little, in the big spreadsheet, I'll give you just that department, and you'll have the, percentage changes.
I was gonna say, but that was the thing, Jeremy, right? It was, we
Yeah.
wanted to see the percentages from the previous year and how it.
So what you're
impacted.
gonna see is on the individual department spreadsheet, I have actual spend for FY '23, actual spend for FY '24, the budget for FY '25, and then in the far column, you'll see their FY '26 budget request. And then what I'll do is on the, like that big spreadsheet that we see in the town meeting booklet, I'll just take out each department for whatever meeting that we're at, for whatever department's coming, and I'll do just the FY '20, I'll probably do 25 to 26, or maybe 24 to 26, and I'll do a percentage change between the current year to 26.
Yep.
So you can see what the percent change was.
Okay.
So it won't be the same ClearGov data dump, it will be
Right,
more,
right.
I'll just take it from our big spreadsheet, cause it's already there anyway.
Which is good. because
Unless
if
we
it's
can
in-
get ClearGov to work quickly, then,
If it's in Excel, at least then I can make it bigger
Right.
for my
Yeah.
particular, because that
Yeah.
was always the other issue.
yeah, so
okay?
I'll put each department on their own spreadsheet, so hopefully I can blow it up a little bit.
I mean, we can't be the only community dealing with the challenge that ClearGov presented. Whoever is using ClearGov must have the same
I'm
challenge.
assuming, yeah.
They must be getting feedback from everybody.
Probably, yeah. So we're gonna reach out to them after we could put everybody in and see
Do
what,
they have a users group of other, a lot of software companies will have users groups that,
Yeah, not ones that were, I mean,
That
we're not-
were-
there's no message board that we're
Right.
really going
Gotcha.
after.
Maybe through MMA though, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
which will be
Okay.
coming up in January, so.
Yeah.
Too bad, that was such an easy program.
Yeah,
I literally could.
and what they did is, because we gave them all of our raw data when we initially started, so they have like all of our other funds and stuff, so like, right now, when you go in there, it looks like Vadar, which is our accounting software. It has like all of our donations, our receipts reserved for appropriation accounts, and like, it has everything. Not just, like, it's not just general fund waters, everything is merged into one budget. It was not fun to look at. I was like, I'm not looking at this. Andrew's been nice, and he went in there and did a bunch of stuff to it, so he's hoping that it rolls for every user. So once he puts his stuff in there, I'll see if I can see the same things he does.
yeah.
Just wasn't gonna be, I wasn't gonna force that
Right.
onto the department heads,
Because
because
not
they
only
already
do you
don't
have
like
to
it.
learn it, but you then gotta get every department
Well, that's the thing
head
now,
to-
right?
To
And I had
to
already
retrain.
trained them on the current one that
Oh,
we were on,
yes.
and they had like finally got it down to like a science. And it was just training the new department heads that had come
That's
on
a
throughout
shame.
the year, yeah. And now it's all changed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yep.
Will you reach out to the Recreation Commission
Yeah,
director
I'm gonna
about-
shoot her an email and Kathleen Walker so they can talk to each other,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all they wanted to do was get on the docket
Yeah.
first so that they'd let their voice be heard.
Yeah.
you know.
So right now, I know they spend their 5,000 first, and then they tap into whatever donations that they have
Yeah.
saved, so.
That's a
I figured it
decent
was coming.
That's a decent ask.
Yeah.
That's a
That is-
solid amount of
that
money.
is
That
Yeah.
5 to 25,
Yeah, I figured it was coming,
did you?
so, yeah.
Well,
It-
yeah,
I mean,
'cause
it
you
does
would-
get ex-
You would see the end cost
It does
of
get
all this stuff, so
expensive,
you-
yeah, and if they run out of donations, there's no, like, they're fortunate that they have really good donations from people, but, I mean, times are getting tough, our business is still gonna, I mean, I don't know who they get their donations from, I don't see that, but I just see how much money is there,
Yeah.
so.
All right, speaking of running out of money, can I assume our snow plow account hasn't been too badly affected so far this year?
Not yet, they've tapped into it, but it hasn't been terrible,
But it hasn't been terrible,
no,
okay.
We've only had, what, one storm?
and a couple
maybe?
ice,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
And again, I'll stop to, so that's the only budget line in the town budget we can overspend.
Okay.
We're allowed to. And then what happens at the next town meeting, we cover it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, as long as the budget is the same.
And we budget, what,
203.5.
203?
I think that's what it is, yeah. So as long as it's what it is, as long as you budget what it is now or more, you can deficit spend it. If you ever lowered their budget, you can't deficit spend. You'd have to wait till the next year. So if we wanted to lower that back down to whatever it was, like 175 before,
Yeah, it was.
if we wanted to do that for FY '26, you couldn't deficit spend it all in FY '26.
Okay.
You would have to wait till FY '27. So you can still technically, they let you deficit spend it because then you can raise it on your tax recap. So if we had no free cash left at the end of the year, no way to fund the deficit, I could raise it on our tax recap and then raise taxes for it the following year without an appropriation from town meeting, because it's a legal deficit.
Okay.
You're not really allowed to do that with very many other accounts.
What, did Christian have a, you got a
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, just, sorry, real quick on Old Home Day. So Ashley, it's the local businesses in town that are on the big banner that hangs over the common that are donating. But I was curious if, have they always had 5,000? Like, when is the last time we've actually increased their line item?
So at least since I've been here for the past 7 years, that they've only had 5,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, just my personal opinion, I feel like it's I don't, we can talk about the 25, but it's a reasonable ask for their costs to have increased over the years.
Like I said, that will come back up again, Christian.
Yeah, so I'll let Diane Doherty is the chair of Recreation Commission right now, so I'll let her know, and then I'll have either her talk to Kathleen, or Kathleen can send it to me, but then they should both come.
Yeah.
So I'll let them know.
Do you think there's opportunity for her to work within her budget and reallocate some funds to, no, okay.
Recreation doesn't get a very big budget either. The only thing that you could possibly move, and it's really not, it's like $500 or even $1,000. We budget money for Memorial Day, which we don't ever have a Memorial Day thing. So unless we did that, I don't know if there is even a Memorial Day
It's
committee anymore.
Usually just for flag replacement.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the recreation doesn't have a very large budget. It's pretty small, so.
Yeah, okay.
Brian, the one discretionary fund that we have, the finance committee has $150,000 at its discretion to award at any time throughout the course of the year. At the end of the year, whatever we don't spend, we give back to the town, and then at May, we get allocated a note. So that's always kind of, in the
It
back.
has to be spent towards unforeseen
it's-
or
right.
unexpected, yeah.
Right,
And a department has to come ask for it.
right. Yeah, it can't be for an operating.
Correct.
Type
Yeah,
of
if
cost.
somebody's operating the deficit because they're frivolous with their budget, you can't. It has to be something that was unforeseen, like say, one of the departments had like their heaters, the heats in the building went and they don't have a big budget. Okay, yeah, that's unforeseen. You wouldn't have budgeted for that. But if they, let's just say, went and they spent too much money on expenses, they can't come ask for money for that. That's frivolous spending, and they would get in trouble for that.
But none of our department heads would
No,
frivolously.
I will say they
spend.
are really good. A lot of our department heads are very, very strict with their budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
So.
just looking at the overall operating budget performance, and I don't think there was really any lines that we were tagging to say that we're, in fear of overspend at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
I will
Good.
give it to all of our department heads. They do a really good job managing their budgets
yeah.
and only asking for what they need.
All right, so I don't have anything else on my agenda. I don't know whether I've also then got an update from the two of you. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've got anything else you would like to add.
No, I mean, we have a couple, outside just the fire station, we have a couple other projects ongoing that have all been kind of authorized to spend. With the monies that we had approved for town hall improvements, we're planning on going out to bid for, few new, security windows. Sorry. So the town clerk's office and our office are gonna get two new service windows. If you look over at the building department and conservation, they have new windows over there. We're gonna continue that for those two offices, and then the two windows that currently service the treasurer collector's office and the accounting office don't meet. Assessing office. Don't meet ADA compliance, so we're gonna correct those and, make the windows bigger and lower down so that we can, correct that
Oh,
issue.
because they're not handicap.
They're high, yeah. We've had a
Yes.
couple people come in and complain about them.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're gonna correct those issues. We're gonna be going back out for the, library fire pump, screens. We had went out last year, but it was much higher than what we had originally anticipated, so.
Really?
That's why we that's why we had to have the supplemental appropriation this last October.
Mhm.
So we're going to, retweak those bid documents and go out to bid soon. We're also gonna be going out to bid on the renovations to the number 2 schoolhouse. I have those, bid documents are just approved by the Mass Historical Commission. I just need to get a contract back from from the Mass Historical Commission to proceed, and then we'll be going out to bid on those,
Mhm.
so. And we are already bid out the salt shed roof replacement, came in, within budget. Nick was just reviewing those bids, and we're planning to award next week, so.
Mhm. Do we have any projects coming off of bond?
We have no projects on right now for debt, nothing.
Nothing.
Just the two, well,
Right,
The
because
two
highway came
schools.
off.
highway came off for, we made our last debt
Yeah.
payment in July.
Yeah.
So for, right now, for FY '26, we have nothing, so
We
we'll
have
just
no-
budget the
yeah.
interest, yeah. The only things that we technically have are the two schools, but those get roped in with the school
Yep.
payments, so nothing for the town that we have for
Right.
debt at all.
So that should help in our.
Yeah, I have no short-term borrowings and nothing. Oh, I lied, I have, but we did it within the levy limit, the amount for the public safety building, that 1.4 that
Yeah.
we spent, that's all I technically have, but, other than that, that's it.
Yep.
Cause the dam, we did a dam betterment on South Charlton, but that gets paid by the betterments that come in, so we don't pay for that, we take the money out of whatever they're paying in their betterments to pay for the debt, so, that's it. So just that one payment,
Good, so, I'd like to think we're in pretty good physical shape
yeah.
compared to a lot of other towns.
So I have no exclusions left on the books, the highway garage was the last one,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so.
Okay, so we start in January for new budgets
Yep.
for the following year. That's, sounds like where we're headed. And I forget, that's the third Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
We stayed
it's
with.
the, was it
It
the
was, wait,
18th?
I thought it was January, we just had the one, but then maybe in February, I
It was
think.
January 15th we're meeting,
Yeah,
and then you had technically two February meetings, but you had a question mark on whatever date the school was.
yeah,
But it happens to fall on the same date that we scheduled our meeting for.
right.
Cause I think we bumped our meeting up a week because of school vacation.
All right, so we'll look at, for that February, maybe after that meeting, after that
Do you
joint
wanna
meeting.
go back to our
It'll
normal
just-
meeting and do February 19th? That was just, I think Kristen or Jamie had said, cause it's school vacation week.
Yeah.
I'm not here.
I could attend, but I'd be on Zoom. I'll be in
I
Florida.
don't think
Christian?
I'm going anywhere as of now.
But
Unless
is-
you
is
wanna
that
go.
school- Is that school vacation?
Yeah,
That is
unless you
school
wanna go to
vacation.
February 26th, that'd be the week after, that'd be the last week of February.
February, and then in March.
It would just give you a week off, and then you have another meeting in March.
Right.
if you
and-
did the
But that
26th.
second February would also be a hearing night,
It would be a budget hearing, yep.
budget hearing. And then in March would be our first time to sit down
No.
and say, okay, here's all.
No, another budget hearing,
Another, okay.
that'd be your last.
That would be our last, okay.
Yep,
so
and
that'd
then,
be
well, I
March,
think
and
we had
then-
said we were gonna meet either the end of March or beginning of April, I forget.
right, to put all the numbers together to get
Correct,
prepared
to look
for-
at a balanced, hopefully a balanced budget, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that sounds like our schedule.
So hold on
Can
the
you
26th.
Can you recap it again? I'm literally putting it on my calendar.
Yeah.
So you wanna do February 26th?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so it'll be February 26th so February 12th is the joint meeting with Dudley Charlton School District, so that'd be with the Board of Selectmen from both towns and Finance Committee from both towns and the school committee.
Perfect.
Okay.
February 26th will be our budget hearings. And then March 12th will be that'll be the last of the 3 budget hearings.
Are those all 6:30, Ashley?
Yes. And then I forget what the next, I'll have to look at my schedule, it's in my office, but whatever, after the March 12th,
It's
cause
gonna
that
be
was,
sometime in early April, otherwise
Yeah.
we're not gonna have a budget to give to
No.
the selectmen.
so I'll look and whatever, I think we picked, I'll look and I'll send it out.
Okay.
I'll send it in an email.
All right. I will update the calendar in the Dropbox and,
Okay.
and resend it to everybody so that we've got it.
February 26th.
So you said 6:30, even though tonight was 6.
Yeah, we bumped up
Yeah.
today, so conservation was supposed to meet last week, but they didn't have quorum.
Okay.
So they have to meet this
So they,
week.
they want this room tonight.
They need,
seven.
well, they
Okay.
need this room, yeah.
Fair.
And they do get a lot of abutters coming in to their meetings, so they have a lot of
Yeah.
people, so to meet in their office is too small.
Yeah.
They get participants in the
Mm-hmm.
audience, so they're very thankful for you changing the meeting to 6.
Accommodating them. Just tell them, you know, payback could be a bitch.
I know, right?
When the time comes.
She's like, I didn't even think to look at the calendar.
Yep. That's all I got.
all I
Anybody got
got.
any questions? I know you
Take
gonna
it
have
all
to
in
take it
now.
all
Yeah.
in, right? And it'll come piece
And
by
if-
piece, I'm
If
sure.
anybody else wants to put their email on their town phones, I don't know if you guys know, if you download the Microsoft Outlook app, don't do it through mail if you have an iPhone. If anybody else wants it, I think Ray was trying to do it, but that's the trick, you have to do it with Outlook.
It's nice.
I have it
Yeah,
now.
you got it, yeah.
When is the January meeting, Ashley?
January
15th.
15th.
Thank you.
That's the regular third Wednesday.
Right.
Yep.
But it's actually going in my calendar.
So right now, I only have police on the schedule. I'm trying to get
you'll-
other
you'll get
departments to
more.
move, to shuffle around, so it's kind of even, but
Yeah.
no one likes
Yeah.
that first meeting. I don't know why.
I would want the first meeting to
That's
put
what I
my
said.
2 cents in and
Right.
say, here's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so,
Okay?
that's it. So hopefully I'll shuffle some people around and get
Yeah.
sweet
Okay.
talk people to move up.
Yep.
They don't wanna go after police, cause police has the first time slot, they're like, oh, they'll be there for forever.
The 15th was on the schedule, right?
Yeah, that one was
Yeah,
normal,
That's,
yeah,
I even put it on the agenda. I always try and put it on the agenda when the next meeting is, so you'll
yeah.
The
get a feel
26th
for
is
it.
the new one.
Yeah, the 26th will be a change, so February 12th will stick, you're just gonna go, I'm assuming it's in the same place as it normally is,
Yeah,
but,
probably.
so I'll let Mr. LaMarche know, and then he'll send an update to you guys when they pick their,
Yep.
or post their meeting,
Good.
and then we
All
just
right,
moved
if-
ours to the
If
26th.
there's nothing else,
Motion to adjourn.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I have one. I have a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no. That is unanimous. We're done. Thank you very much. A good start to the, get ready for the new year. Okay?
Bye, Kristen.
Merry
Bye,
Christmas.
Chris.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody.